So we are celebrating the appearance of Lord Ram over this weekend Bhakti Yoga retreat. So together we will bathe our consciousness in the glories and the pastimes of Lord Ram. Hanuman, he sees the Lord present as the soul of all existence, and he's always chanting his names. He's always chanting Sita Ram, Ram, Ram. We heard yesterday about the glories of Hanuman, how the Lord is always present in his heart. In Hindi we have a saying, Mukh mein Ram Naam, Hata mein Ram Kam. All right, this is your Hindi lesson for today. Okay? Mukh mein, Mukh mein. You can say it. Mukh mein. Mukh mein Ram Naam. Haat mein Ram Kam. That means with our tongues we will utter the name Ram. And with our hands we will do his service. So we talked yesterday and we did hours and hours of kirtan. And then we spoke the glories of kirtan. The glories of singing and chanting the names of Ram. Today we talk a little bit about Haat mein Ram Kam. Right? Both are important. Our gurus would say, sometimes people say, how can I do both? How can I Mukh mein Ram Naam and Haat mein Ram Kam? How can I chant the Lord's name and also serve and also do some work? Our guru in his temple in India, during the fast day of Ekadashi, some people were sleeping in the room and saying, I'll just chant and relax. This is a fast day. Fast day means relaxed day. But in our temple in India, on the Ekadashi, we'd invite hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people and give free food that was offered, prashad. And our Shiksha Guru, our mentor there, he would ask people to come and help, and they would say, no, I'm only chanting the Lord's name. Mukh mein Ram Naam, the scripture says, chant God's name. I will chant God's name. He said, Hat. Mukh mein Ram Naam, Haat mein Ram ka Kam. Chant the Lord's name and serve God. That is Bhakti Yoga. Our Bhakti Yoga retreats are where we retreat from Maya, but we advance in Bhakti. Yes? We retreat from Maya, but we advance in Bhakti. So we should consider, what does it mean to do God's work? That's what it technically means. Mukh mein Ram Naam, Haat mein Ram ka Kam. Keep God's name in your mouth and do God's work with your hands. What is God's work? So many things to talk about. One thing we've been speaking about this morning, and a little bit after our evening program, we're up till 10 doing our program, and then we discussed, what does it mean to serve God? To do God's work. And we said, serving the children, serving the elders, serving the community, this is God's work. We had our program yesterday, and who took prashad first? The children. Why? Because we are responsible for their safety, their security, their healthy upbringing with affection and with proper etiquette and respect. And these are God's children, right? So that is God's work. Serving God doesn't mean, I will only do your arati. Right? We offer the lamp, then everyone takes the lamp. We offer the water, then give everyone the water. We offer the flower, then everyone smells the flower. We offer the bhoga, then everyone takes prashad. So keep God's name in your mouth and do God's work. That does not mean you offer the food to God and then say, hey, nobody gets to take any. Right? You would be surprised. Some people have that mentality. Some places you go, very opulent offerings for Krishna, and give everyone slop. I know some temple, right? Elaborate feast for Krishna, but the devotees, they should practice austerity. in the name of austerity, we will not properly serve devotees. There's one ashram in India. We spent some time, and our Shiksha Guru there would make huge feasts every day and invite anyone. Doors were open. And the manager there said we should have a ticket system. Everyone has to give, 80 rupees. This was in 2012. Give 80 rupees to eat a meal. Why? All they know is business. Right? We are born and bred with a business mentality in this world. Karma, 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 karma. That is not Ram ka kam. Kam means work, but God's work and karma is different. God's work is charity. Right? That's God's work. That's called dharma. To give of your life and your energy for the benefit of others. That is hat me ram ka kam. We're all doing that according to our qualifications. That is our philosophy. This is bhakti yoga. We offer our energies in the service of God according to His desire, His direction, through His lineage. Haribo. You can bring a chair up closer for Shan. Haribo. All right. Mukh me Ram Naam, hat me Ram Kam. Everyone learned how to say it, right? You got it? Mukh me Ram Naam, hat me Ram Ka Kam. Why? I'm inspired by this. Wow, Krishna Mohan Prabhu, Sukadev Prabhu, Gopi Khan, Chandra Mataji, Rupa Manjari, everyone, Tirtha, Vrindavan, everyone here is here for service. That's what I spoke about yesterday. Even coming together to do kirtan is that same principle. Right? That's why it's called a yajna. Because it's not selfish. Yajna, in English, they translate it as sacrifice. It's not the best translation, but it still implies giving of something. Most people do yajnas for a material benefit. Then what kind of sacrifice is that? I will do this yajna and get this benefit. And God is sacrificing something for me. But for us, yajna means doing a service. It's that same principle. Mukh me Ram Naam, hat me Ram ka kam. We're doing the yajna, chanting God's name, but in our hands, we're doing His work, His service, not karma. So we had our temple in India. They said, give 80 rupees per plate. And He said, no, my doors are open. Anyone can come. We had a big courtyard in that temple, and it would flood with people in all directions. We have our ashram there in Vrindavan. Even now, we have upstairs prashad distribution, downstairs prashad distribution in the streets, prashad distribution in the villages. Why? According to our qualifications. We all have different qualifications in life and different capacity. But it is our principle as devotees, aspiring devotees of God, that we will engage our energy in the service of God by fulfilling His desire. His desire is not just that you serve Him. To really serve God means to serve His devotees and to serve the people. It's both sides. We can't neglect one or the other. It's the same principle with Guru. Oh, Gurudev, I want to massage your feet. Oh, Gurudev, I want to wash your clothes. Oh, Gurudev, I want to cook for you and feed you. Gurudev will say, no. Cook for people. Massage the feet of people. Distribute prashad to people. That's what I've seen in my life. So if you want to serve me, that's extra credit. But don't sacrifice your primary service just to serve me. I've seen that always with my gurus. They say, oh, Gurudev, I want to massage your feet. I said, this is your relationship with me. Right? It's a relationship. Like you have a relationship between father and son, husband and wife, mother and child. You have a relationship. But what is your service? Real devotee of God is always thinking, how can I serve my beloved? You look at Hanuman. Hanuman was sitting and chanting, Ram, Ram, Ram. But the moment he heard that Ram had some service for him, what happened? He flew there in a moment. Why? Mukh me Ram Naam, hat me Ram Kam. It's a way of life, right? It's a way of life. And so when we come together for kirtan, understand that that is service. It is a service. It's the sacrifice of this age. Yagya sankirtana prayer. Yajanti hi sumedasa. Everyone's coming together and using our voices. It's described to be like the tongues are the ladles by which we pour the ghee into the fire of the distribution of the holy name. And it purifies the whole atmosphere. Our Gurudev would say it goes out like when you throw stones in a lake, ripples spread in all directions. So when we together offer our voices, let's do Jai Shri Ram, all right, in 3. 1, 2, 3. Jai Shri Ram, right? It didn't stop. This is the power of sound. That sound wave is still going. They say temples have 100-mile powerful effect. Some people are asking, okay, like for example, every morning we worship Shalagram, we worship Tulasi, we do Arati. That power of that service to God goes out throughout 100 miles, 100-mile radius. Everyone gets the benefit. That's Ram Kam. You're doing God's work. You could say, what's the importance of bathing God? He needs a bath every day like we do? He gets smelly? Shalagram gets smelly? No. By serving God, that elements of nature is then, the energy of that is going out into the atmosphere and purifying the atmosphere and uplifting it. Therefore, it's said, without bhakti in the world would be destroyed. This is something you have to understand from studying scripture under guidance. If we look at scripture, there's always a battle going on. Eternal battle. What is the battle? Between good and evil? Right? There is undeniably wickedness in this world. How do we combat it? By this service to God, bhakti yoga, keeping darkness at bay as a daily practice. That's chanting God's name, but doing God's service. Right? Every day, we push back against Maya. Right? Every day. We do it in our own lives, right? If one person in the family is doing it, it's protecting the family. One person in the city is doing it, it's protecting the city. That's how it works. That's why when Ram left, he said, Hanuman must stay in this world. Right? Ram left and he said, Hanuman, you must stay. Hanuman said, Lord, how can you, when we heard this story yesterday, Ram was giving gifts to everyone. Hanuman was hiding. He didn't want a gift. He said, you'll give me a gift and send me away. Finally, in the evening time, Ram called him. He gave him the pearl necklace of Sita. He bit it open to see Sita Ram inside, and then he showed Sita Ram in his heart. Then when Ram was preparing to leave this world later on, after many years, he said, Hanuman, you must remain. He said, Lord, how can I stay without you? He said, if you don't stay in this world, it will be destroyed. Who will protect this world from darkness, from evil? Hanuman alone, just sitting and chanting, Ram, 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 understanding that even that act of Hanuman chanting Ram's name is a service, keeping this world protected from the ultimate destruction. This is the power of the name, right? Hanuman is sitting and chanting Ram, the power of God's name with that Shakti, that divine energy, is a great service to this world. So that's why it's called Yagya. Yagya Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti hi Sumedasa. We come together and we do kirtan as a service, as charity work. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it's described that all the sages came together and they said, oh, the dark age of Kali is coming. What will we do to protect people in this world from this? He said, we'll come together and we'll do a great yagya. They wanted to do 1,000-year yagya. And they heard the Srimad Bhagavatam. And what is the power of the Srimad Bhagavatam? It says, Kali Kalamasa Nasanam. It destroys the destructive influence of Kali. So our philosophy is, let us chant the Lord's name, and according to each of our capacity, we serve. There are many kinds of service, but to live a life of service is a very noble life. It's a dharmic life. That does not mean, that means we take care of our families as service. We live our lives as service. People say it sounds very difficult, very painful. but actually it's very joyous because it establishes your direct connection, your direct relationship. Krishna, Ram sees, oh, you are so surrendered, you're so much in this mood of dedication. There's actually a Ramayana story. One of the great sages' father had passed. And there's one rishi, and he came to Janak Maharaj's court, and he said that his father had passed improperly. There's a whole story around it. But basically, the end of the story goes that the sages said, no, he was such an amazing, excellent dharmic sevak that they had to take him to heaven. They brought him to heaven to continue and to manage there. Everyone is looking for good managers. So this sage was so qualified, so expert, that in his old age, he went directly to the heavenly realm to continue his service there. Because in that Atma, that soul, the tendency to serve God had fully manifested. Right? By the power of his desire in his soul. So, many kinds of dharma, many kinds of service. One of the most important is to keep this tradition alive. Right? Hanuman is sitting there chanting Ram and doing his service. Our service that we can perform is to keep this tradition alive. This is beyond our capacity, it's in God's hands, but we can also serve that. And that is what we are aiming at, right? When we are teaching the children, but to teach the children is not just a lesson we give, right? It's not just what we speak, it's how we interact with each other, right? It's how the parents interact with each other, how the community interacts with them, how we serve them. Very intelligent. So they see how you care just by your way of living. That is also a service. And the main principle here we're establishing is that Krishna says, if you are my devotee's devotee, then you are my devotee. Right? We don't say, oh, I will offer to Krishna and not feed anybody else. We offer to Krishna. It is purified. It is sanctified. It is his grace then, and then we distribute it. That's our philosophy. We have temples in South India, right? 10,000, 15,000 plates a day given out freely to everyone. What a noble act. Sanatana Goswami writes histories about this, how great kings arrange huge sacrifices of prashadam, distribute to everybody, and the Lord is very merciful. So this is one kind. But without hari-katha, the tradition is lost. That's why the greatest service is to speak and to hear hari-katha. Each of us, to speak and to hear hari-katha is the greatest service. It's a service performed by none other than Ram's own children. Ram's children who? Love and Kush, Sita Devi's children. The children's service is then to serve the tradition, serve their elders. We see that in our culture. Same thing in the Bhagavatam. Who spoke the Bhagavatam? Sukadeva Goswami. Who is Sukadeva Goswami? Son of Vedavyas. You see? So what is your service? What is our service? We keep the tradition alive by our faith and by speaking hari-katha, and by distributing our Gurudev's hari-katha. We offer, that is our Hat Me Ram Ka Kam. Understand? That's how we serve Hanuman also. Hanuman is sitting there chanting Ram, Ram, distributing Ram Katha, serving Ram. So in the same way, we continue that tradition, that lineage of the Lord. He says, Dharma sangstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I come age after age to establish Dharma. Why? Because people forget. And people stop speaking and hearing hari-katha. That's why he has to come again and again, and the demons take over again and again. He has to kill the demons again and again. Why? People stop speaking and hearing hari-katha. Srila Bhakti Goswami Maharaj, I believe it's his quote, or another acharya. He'd say, actually the most important thing in this world and the most neglected thing in this world is pure speaking of hari-katha and hearing of hari-katha. And what is hari-katha? It means Krishna's Naam Rup Gun Lila. Not just philosophy, Krishna's pastimes. So we don't have much time now, but we're going to hear this evening again, and tomorrow again. This morning we had morning program. Those sound vibrations then go out into the world and keep that influence of Kali a little bit at bay for a few hours. Those who live in the city, right? It's crazy. We were there at Radha's house, and it's like, it's either a siren or a crazy person screaming, "I'm going to kill you all." We had somebody like 2 a.m, "I'm going to kill everybody. All you people in your houses, I'm going to kill you." Right? And then what do you hear next? A siren, ambulance. That's the world we live in. We live in a mad world. But we serve God by caring for our families, caring for the children, caring for the communities, caring for our elders, doing our best to serve in society, and by speaking hari-katha, by hearing hari-katha, and by doing kirtan. Gurudev would also say, we arrange these programs. Whenever Gurudev would travel around the world to different places, he'd say, you should first offer your pranam to the hosts. So every time we go to Krishnamurti's house, in our heart, we offer pranam. Why? Without that, how can you do any dharmic activity? There has to be a foundation. This is Baladev's Shakti, Baladev Tattva. Balaram is the foundation, Krishna's brother. Without that, how can you do any spiritual activity? So if you neglect that, only the speaking is service. No. Maintaining the place is service. That's why in temple life, everything is considered service. Taking out the trash is service. It's the highest service. Cleaning the bathroom is the highest service. Cleaning the kitchen is the highest service. Because it's all related to that same principle, Mukh me Ram Naam, Hat me Ram ka Kam. That I will do my best with my energy to serve God by helping this world not be completely lost to madness. So Sita and Ram's own children, Lava and Kush, were trained to speak the Ramayana, to keep that tradition alive. Who were they trained by? The author himself, Valmiki. Same with the Bhagavatam. Vedvyas wrote the Bhagavatam and trained Sukadeva Goswami. Then Sukadeva Goswami spoke the Bhagavatam. And then in that lineage, one after another, in every succession, everyone is being trained to distribute hari-katha. That is your education. How to distribute hari-katha your whole life. Through speaking, through hearing, through publishing. Our Bhaman Goswami Maharaj, he was a brahmachari in the temple. And at that time they had a press. And you'd crank it with your hand. And he smashed his finger one day because he was working like 12, 14 hours in the press, 15 hours, 16 hours. His hand was completely smashed. And his guru carried him in his own arms to the hospital and arranged his treatment. And he was weeping, so much tears of love. Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, he was publishing a daily newspaper. For 10 years, they had a daily spiritual newspaper in Mayapur, in Bengali. And the same time they had in Oriya, English, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly periodicals, right? Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada's whole mission was based on distributing hari-katha. That's Mukh me Ram Naam, Hat me Ram ka Kam. Our Vrindavan Brahmacharis publish, so many books here. Tirtha Prabhu is always publishing hari-katha, right? That's our direct service to Gurudev. It's such a beautiful thing, right? Understand, it's not just for us. We are practicing as best we can. But this very activity of trying to distribute this, that is, Krishna is so pleased by that service. These are two main principles for us. Bhakta Bandhav means we serve devotees. We serve people. That's pleasing to Krishna. Krishna says, the devotees of my devotees are my real devotees. That means madhyam, mature devotion. A mature devotee understands that serving devotees is devotion to Krishna. All right? When we advance in bhakti, we understand that serving devotees that is directly service to Krishna. It's very hard for beginners to understand. Oh, but this person has this bad qualities, but this person has this. Oh, they're just this. It's just a kid. It's just an old person. No. Anyone who's anyhow related to God, you serve them, that is directly Krishna's service. He is directly accepting it. We read this morning how he is praying. Krishna is praying, how can I serve the devotees? They won't accept my service. We had this class this morning. Krishna is doing a vow this month. He wants to serve his devotees, but no one will accept it. Imagine Krishna comes and tries to feed you. Oh, Krishna Mahaprabhu, take a plate. No, I am your servant. I am Krishna Das, right? Devotee thinks I am Krishna Das. They don't want to accept God's service. So therefore, it's the devotee's service to be God's instruments by serving his devotees. Because they say, okay, you are like me also, I will accept your service. Even that is difficult. Some devotees are there, they say, no, I will not accept anyone's service. I will be the last one. I'll serve everybody, then I will take. Right? Everything's clean, everything's good, then I'll go hide myself and eat. I won't accept anyone's service. But that's also not our philosophy. What's the problem accepting service? That's also a service. We said this last night. We're so grateful for anyone to come. The mere fact of their presence is a service. If, like the kids I was talking about yesterday, if the kids are screaming and yelling, but they're here and giving us a chance to serve and take care of them properly and educate them properly, that is their service. Doesn't matter if they're yelling and screaming. That's according to their nature, their qualification at this stage of life. But that is our service. So Krishna was doing a vow that he said, I want to myself serve. Everyone is worshiping God, but God himself wants to be the worshiper. That's the speciality of our Krishna. Our Krishna, he said, I want to serve and worship my beloveds, my devotees. And he did a vow for 1 month, praying that I want to serve the devotees, I want to serve the devotees, I want to serve the devotees. Therefore, he became Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our Lord Chaitanya, he said, I must become a devotee myself. And then he would himself distribute prasadam. In Mahaprabhu's pastimes, in Jagannath Puri, anytime there was prashad distribution, Mahaprabhu would be passing out prashad. And people would ask him to eat, and he said, no. I had the same problem when I was Krishna. No one would let me feed them. Everyone wants to feed me and worship me. So I came as Lord Chaitanya to serve everybody. He came as Lord Chaitanya so he could serve. One time, Lord Nityananda was serving out prasadam. This is Panihati festival, Daichirwa festival. And Nityananda Prabhu called for Mahaprabhu, and it said only a few people could see. But really, Mahaprabhu was passing out prasad to everyone. In a spiritual form, not everyone could see him. Not everyone had that spiritual vision. But some of the associates could see. Have you heard the story? Mahaprabhu is passing out prasad to every devotee. That's God's own desire. So our Gurudev got the title Bhakta Bandhav, which means the friend and the servant of devotees. And actually, Krishna gives himself that title in the Sastra. In the Purana, he said, Ashmakam Bandhava Bhakta, I am the friend and the servant of my devotees. Aham Bhakta Paradino, Krishna said, I am subordinate to my devotees. How can it be so? How can God be subordinate to his devotees? He says, no. Sadhavo hridayam mayam, sadhavo hridayam toham, naranyate na jananti naham tebyo manasapi. That I am always in the heart of my devotees and they are always in my heart. I know no one but my devotees and they know no one but me. We sing Ebara Karuna Koro. That Govinda Hridayis, the Vaishnav's heart is Govinda's resting place, Krishna's resting place. And the Vaishnav's heart is Krishna's resting place, and the Vaishnavs are in Krishna's heart. Therefore we say, as we mature in bhakti, when we're more neophyte, we think, I will serve Krishna, but I will criticize devotees, I will offend devotees. Different levels, right? Sannyasi's this, Grahasta's this, or this person this. I am Krishna's great devotee. I'm always serving Krishna. Krishna is good. It's like saying, Father is good, but your kids are horrible. What kind of service is that to the parents, right? They're going to be happy? People think, I can worship God and abuse everybody, criticize everybody, be mean to everybody. This is not bhakti yoga. This is called aparad yoga. Aparad yoga means the yoga of offenses. Aparad. Pop yoga. Right? Becoming connected to sin, pop. Pop yoga, aparad yoga, himsa yoga, but not bhakti yoga. Duryodhan's a good example. Duryodhan said, I made a feast for Krishna. You know the story? Duryodhan said, I made a feast for you, Krishna. You're supposed to be some big personality. Here's huge opulent feast. Krishna said, I'm not hungry. Immediately Duryodhan became upset. I made it for you, you have to eat. You're my guest, you must eat. Krishna said, no, you're trying to kill my devotees. You want to kill the Pandavas. Why would I take your food? So if you can try to serve Krishna, offer food to Krishna, but if you're not favorable to his devotees, Krishna will never accept. That does not become prashad. If you're against Krishna's devotees, you try to serve Krishna, Radharani won't offer it. When we offer, first we give to Gurudev, then to Param Gurudev, Parat Par Gurudev, Parameshti Gurudev, then ultimately lead to Vishaka. She gives to Radharani, she gives to Krishna. You won't get up halfway past the line. Rejected, return. Return to sender. Bhakti is only complete if it's accepted. That's what they say about service. Right? You try to feed someone they don't eat, you didn't feed them. Right? Take it, you didn't accept. It's not bhakti. It's aparad yoga, it's pop yoga. So our philosophy is, that's why it said, prema, maitri, kripa, upeksha. We try to advance in bhakti, to have real respect for devotees, real honor for devotees, to see, oh, Krishna is in their heart, and they are very dear to Krishna, I will serve them. There's a story of one follower of Mahaprabhu. He had so much love for the devotees, he would go house to house and give them mangoes, give them jackfruit, give them sweets. He would wait outside and hide, and after they would eat it and throw out the mango pits, and then go back in the room and go to sleep, he would go to their compost and take the mango pits and take their remnants. There's one famous devotee. Imagine, right? He had so much faith in the devotees' prasadam. Our Param Gurudev had a similar story. When he was a young boy, he wouldn't eat any food. And then they went to their guru and asked, oh, this young boy now, he's 4 or 5 years old, he's only taking mother's milk, still hasn't eaten any food. We're worried for him. He said, they were landlords. And he said, there's one cobbler in your village who is a great devotee of the Lord. Your son will only start eating food after he gets the remnants of the Lord's devotees. See? He will only eat anything after he gets the devotees, the pure devotees' remnants. So this lady went to the family, and they were considered very lower class. Cobblers, working with leather all the time, but they were great devotees of Gaur Nitai. They were chanting to Gaur Nitai. And when Param Gurudev's mother came, she was a high class, landlord family. She came, she brought some prashad to them. She said, please take prashad. And they were very shy and astonished. Why has she come to serve us like this? What does she come for? And she said, please take. My guru sent me to give this to you. So finally they took. And then she said, please give me your remnants. They became very scared. How can we of a low class family give you our remnants? She said, please, my guru requested it. She stayed there for 3, 4, 5 hours. Finally, they gave her a little bit. And then immediately she went home and Param Gurudev took their prasadam. And then he started eating. Our Vaman Goswami Maharaj, his mother, Vaman Goswami Maharaj, his mother would go every year on pilgrimage to Navadvip, Bengal, Mahaprabhu's birthplace. And after they would feed 10, 15,000 pilgrims on the, they would eat on the ground. So it's like dirt or clay. She would sweep up all the remnants, right? And then she would collect any falling grains of rice, and she would dry it. And then she would, every morning before eating any other food, she would take 1 grain of that rice and give her son. And Vaman Goswami Maharaj said later on that my whole body is only made of the Vaishnavas' remnants. My body is the remnants of the Vaishnavas, the prashad of the Vaishnavas. Therefore, any service I'm doing is because of their power. Narad Muni, when he was a little boy, he visited an ashram for 4 months with his mother during Chaturmasya. And it said by one time he got the remnants of the devotees, their prashad, and he developed pure love for the Lord by that power of prashadam, uchista. Therefore, there's a verse, Vina Mahatpada Rajobi Shekam. Without the Vaishnava's uchista, mercy, prashad, how can we develop pure love for Hari? We cannot develop that Krishna consciousness without Vaishnava's prashad. Bhakta Padaduli, Bhakta Padajal, Bhakta Bhukt Avases, Tin Sadhana Rabal. We all think, I want strength in sadhana. By our own efforts, not possible. But you take the devotees' remnants like that. So Mahaprabhu's associate, he would bring gifts, boxes of mangoes, right? He would bring boxes of mangoes to all the different families and feed them. And he would say, please take it, offer to the Lord, and take prashad. And then he would hide, and when they would put it out in the compost, he would take a little bit. And one time in Jagannath Puri, Mahaprabhu was entering Jagannath's temple. I don't know if you've heard this story. Mahaprabhu was entering Jagannath's temple, and he would always wash his feet first. Before you enter a temple, they're walking barefoot, so he would wash his feet. And he would have his Seva, Govinda Prabhu, dry the water with the towel so that no one could take it. Because Mahaprabhu is the Lord, but in a mood of devotee. He said, this life, I don't want anyone to worship me. I'm here to worship the devotees. We heard about this class in the morning. Krishna wanted to worship the devotees. Therefore, he appears in this vrat, Keshav vrat. So Mahaprabhu would have the water be dried up completely. But this one devotee who was giving everyone prashad and taking their remnants, when Mahaprabhu was having his feet washed, then this devotee, as his feet were being washed, everyone knew the rule. No one can take Mahaprabhu's foot bath water. That was the rule. No one can take Mahaprabhu's foot bath water. But as Mahaprabhu's feet were being washed, this devotee went down like this and took the water. And Mahaprabhu smiled. And he went again. And then Mahaprabhu said, okay. No one else was ever allowed to do it. Only this devotee, because of how much faith he had in the devotees of the Lord. So our mission is like that. We are servants of the devotees. When you understand that, then you become joyous when you get a chance to serve devotees. It's a celebration. It's a festival. The chance to serve Krishna's devotees is the greatest fortune, the greatest mercy. Mother Yashoda, every day she's famous for feeding everyone in Vrindavan. The sages, the rishis, the gopas, the gopis, all the cowherders from all the different mothers' homes. They all come together and have breakfast with Krishna, have lunch with Krishna. And then all the parents, it's like a co-op, right? They all bring fruits and vegetables. So Mother Yashoda has the biggest kitchen. Because every day they're cooking there for everybody. But if everyone has the mood of service, then it's not difficult on anybody. So this is the other side. We have to think, it's not, Hat Me Ram Kam is not just for one person. One person should serve. Everyone should participate. Everyone does their best to make it possible. Right? That becomes a celebration. So Mother Yashoda is famous for that. Her name means she's always giving. Jashodha, dha means to give. And Radharani's mother's name? Kirtida, giving. Both of their names are very similar. Jashoda, Kirtida. Jashoda means to give glories to others, to glorify others. And Kirtida is the same, to glorify others. So this is the names of the mothers of Krishna and Radha. So who can be more glorious than that? So that is our sacred lineage. As we advance in the beginning stage of bhakti, we think God is great, everyone else is useless. Right? I'm going to serve God and hate everybody else. And my God is right, and everyone else's God is wrong. I myself am specially privileged to spiritual realization. Everyone is bogus in this world but me, or my little group. But as we advance, we see anyone who has devotion to God, we see, let me serve them. And that will please my Lord. That is his service. So there are many ways we do this. We have 5 minutes or so. So, any questions? Anything we can talk about? Tonight we'll do more Ram stories. We didn't have so much time here, so it's more of an introduction. But I want to go through Ram's pastimes in essence. We had our program in Queens. We talked about it a little bit. But our Gurudev had great affection for Ram. He would come every year to Houston and he would watch Ram videos. Ram Chandra Sagar. He made a whole series. Ramananda Sagar, right? He made a whole series of Ram. How long? It's like, how long is his Ramayan? 36 CDs. Like 100 hours or something. Gurudev would watch it for hour after hour. And sometimes Madhav Maharaj would come into the room and he would see Gurudev just crying and crying and crying. Right? He would see that. And he would ask Gurudev, okay, now time to take rest. Morning time, we have this to do and that to do. And so Gurudev would go upstairs, lay down, pretend to take rest, and as soon as Madhav Maharaj was sleeping, Gurudev would come back down and start watching again. Why? It's so much attraction and attachment to the pastimes of Lord Ram. Since his childhood, it said when Gurudev was a little boy, Ram gave him direct darshan. Ram, Sita, Lakshman, Hanuman, they gave Gurudev direct darshan. And as a little boy, Gurudev was always chanting Ram, Ram, Ram. Gurudev's parents were like Ram Bhaktas. He was a great devotee of Lord Ram. And when Gurudev was like 10, 11 years old, in a dream, Ram, Lakshman came to him and they said, please come and find us. Come and find us. And Gurudev thought, where are you? Where are you? And then they appeared again in a dream. And this time they were golden and they were monks and they were dancing. Right? And he could not understand, who is this? He was very attracted. And they said, oh. Then Ram Lakshman came again and said, actually, in this age, we are Gaur-Nitai. We talked a little bit about this last night, right? God is one, but he appears in different forms, different times, according to his devotees and the needs. So he said, in this age, we are Gaur-Nitai, come find us. And they would again and again ask Gurudev, and then Gurudev quickly came to Navadvip. So when we see Gaur-Nitai, we think this is not different from Ram Lakshman. But it's according to mood, according to rasa. So Gurudev had so much devotion for hari-katha. Gurudev would also speak. I remember when he would do like a 7-day program, he'd always dedicate like a day to Ram. You would hear hari-katha. People say, oh, we should only hear about Krishna, right? But this is Krishna's pastimes also. Keshava Drita Rama Sarira. Ram's pastimes are also Krishna's pastimes. So we are doing a service here, speaking the glories of Ram, so that Krishna is pleased hearing his pastimes as Ram. The gopis are pleased hearing Krishna's pastimes as Ram. One time Krishna was in Vrindavan. He told the gopis, oh, in my last life I was Ram. They said, Ram? Ram was very dharmic. You're always stealing butter. You stole our clothes. Ram was very righteous. But Krishna, everyone knows you have no good character. Ram only had Sita. But Krishna, for you, 10 million gopis is not enough. How is it possible that you are Ram? Krishna said, oh, you don't understand. You don't understand my pastimes. I only see Radha. All the gopis are expansions of Radharani. I only see Radharani. Still, they didn't believe. So they were at one lake. And the gopis said, oh, Krishna, if you were Ram, then Ram built a bridge across the ocean to Lanka just by rocks. Can you do that? He said, yes, of course. So Krishna called out to all the monkeys, Haribo, ow, come. I've been feeding you butter every day. Now you have to give me some return. So all the monkeys came from all directions and they started building a bridge. And very quickly they built a bridge. You know what that place is called in Vrindavan, Braj? There's a special area in Braj Mandal where we go to that pastime place, where Krishna showed he is Ram, and they built a bridge. As soon as they built it, the gopis said, you didn't do anything. This is your nature, you know? You take credit for everyone else's work. The monkeys did it. What did you do? The point here is that Krishna likes to hear his pastimes as Ram also. Every morning, what do we sing? Nishringha Vamana Shri Madhusudhana Brajendra Nandana Shama Putana Gatana Kaitava Shatana Jayada Sarati Rama. We are not singing to many different gods. We're singing to Krishna. But Nishringha Vamana Shri Madhusudhana Brajendra Nandana Sham Putana Gatana Kaitava Shatana Jaya Dasarati Ram. Same Krishna, different pastimes. So Jayadev Goswami wrote in his Geet Govinda, Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Keshava Drita Vamana Rupa Keshava Drita Narasingha Rupa Keshava Drita Brigupati Rupa Keshava Drita Varaha Rupa Keshava Drita Rama Sarira Keshava Drita Haladara Rupa. Understand, it's all Krishna. It's all Krishna's forms. So every day in Braj, morning and evening, they speak Krishna's pastimes, and they also speak about these different incarnations. This is going on in Braj Leela. So this is called hari-katha. So my point here is that Love and Kush, from childhood, they were trained to speak hari-katha and to hear hari-katha. This is our culture. As human beings, we're always interested in something else but ourselves. We want to hear the news, we want to watch TV, we want to watch movies, we want to read books. So we have to utilize that same tendency to hear about and think about Krishna. Prabhupada in his day, he also started his ITV, ISKCON TV, right? Puppet shows, and so many things. People still watch the Krishna puppet shows. Have you ever seen these Krishna puppet shows? All the Bhagavatam stories, right? This is Prabhupada's vision. That anyhow, we have to give this message to the world, and that is our dharma. That is Hat Me Ram Ka Kam. Our primary occupation is to distribute this message and keep this tradition alive. So we say here in our mission, right? To help awaken attraction to Krishna Leela, attraction to Braja Prem. Tatra lolyam api mulyam ekalam janma koti sukritirna labhyate. Our primary duty is to help awaken attraction to Krishna and his pastimes in Vrindavan. That's our primary occupation for our children, in our communities, and in the world. Not just for ourselves. That's my thesis here. You understand? We don't want to take prashad here ourselves. We want to give prashad. We don't want to just hear hari-katha ourselves. We want others to hear hari-katha. We don't want to just speak ourselves. We want others to speak. Ananta Shesh said, I wish I had thousands of mouths by which I could speak Krishna's glories. I wish I had thousands of ears by which I could hear Krishna's glories. So distributing Krishna's glories, then everyone gets to hear, then Krishna is pleased, everyone is pleased. So this is our tradition. We are trying our best to do that service. Use our energy in that service. If you look at Rama's pastimes, I'll end with this, okay? Because everyone's got to go in a minute. All right? We can pack up for you and you can take, no problem. If we're going to speak about this tonight, 6 o'clock, all right? If we look at all the main characters in Ram Leela, they all showed us perfectly how to follow dharma according to their responsibility. Bharat, Ram, Lakshman, Kaikeyi, Kaushalya, Sumitra, Dasarath, Hanuman, Sugriv, Vibhishan. How in every circumstance, Sita Devi, Lava and Kush, Valmiki, Vashishta, all these different personalities showed how you perfectly follow dharma in your life. And in our Vedic tradition, it says those who practice dharma are always receiving God's mercy and grace. Right? Their lives are always auspicious. So if we practice dharma in our life, we should have no fear and no doubt. Krishna says, have no doubt, I will deliver you. Desham satata yuktanam vajatam pritipurvakam dadhami buddhiyogam tam yena mam upayantite. I will lead you to me. I will give you the intelligence to come to me. I have no doubt. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha yashyami masucha. I have no doubt I will deliver you from all calamity, from all distress. So we pray to Lord Ram that we can continue this service each according to our capacity and use our energy to serve this great tradition. Keep this torch lit and bright with our energy, with our efforts. Mukh me Ram Nam, हाथ में राम का काम। गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि वो।